Audio Jungle.
Saint Anjuman dies after vehicle falls on him. A 48-year-old man died from injuries he received after a vehicle he was repairing fell on him in Bull Bay, St. Andrew on Saturday. He has been identified as Joshua Chambers, a bus operator of 9 Miles, Taylorland in Bull Bay. Reports are that about 7 a.m. on Saturday, Chambers was lying beneath a Toyota motor truck, which he was repairing, when the vehicle suddenly fell on him, causing severe injuries. He was rushed to the Kingston Public Hospital where he was pronounced dead. The Bull Bay police are investigating the incident. Mackenzie saddened by Falmouth's devastation. Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond Mackenzie summoned up to the state of Falmouth's infrastructure, following an almost 5-hour tour of the historic capital on Saturday as frightening. This tour follows the passage of Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 hurricane, the strongest ever to strike Jamaica, that left behind a trail of ruin in the historic seaside town, which Mackenzie compared the devastated capital of St. Elizabeth's Black River. If I am to make a comparison with Falmouth and Black River, the only thing that Falmouth has over Black River is that there are commercial activities taking place, Mackenzie noted. But the extent of the damage to the infrastructure of Falmouth is frightening, Mackenzie added. He said one of the most heartbreaking sights was the Falmouth Infirmary, which once housed more than 100 residents and staff. There is no way that that infirmary will be able anytime soon to take back the residents who used to occupy it. We are now looking at what alternative arrangements can be made to house them, Mackenzie lamented. He noted, however, that the nearby drop-in center and shelter fared much better. It is in excellent condition, only a few broken windows and doors, but it's in good shape, and a number of persons are already being housed there, Mackenzie noted. Turning his attention to the town's famed Georgian architecture, Mackenzie said the Falmouth Courthouse building, which housed the headquarters of Trelawney Municipal Corporation TMC, one of the oldest buildings in Trelawney, had suffered severe damage. I think the time has come when I will have to engage Minister Oliver Grange, who is the Minister of Culture, to speak about the question of Falmouth and buildings which are protected by the National Heritage Trust. It is clear that if any of these buildings are to be repaired, it cannot be in the same standard that are now set because of the existing conditions, he added. In the meantime, Mayor of Falmouth and Chairman of the TMC, C. Junior Gage, lamented that extensive loss suffered in the town as he pointed out that the main municipal building was destroyed. According to him, it may not be practical to invest the large sums needed to restore the building and suggested that the authorities may instead have to identify new land and construct a replacement facility. Meanwhile, Mackenzie commented members of the Jamaica Fire Brigade in Falmouth who continue to operate under challenging circumstances. Everywhere I've seen in Falmouth from this Saturday morning is total devastation, Mackenzie noted. But I want to commend the firefighters. Under trying circumstances, they are still operating, he added. Mackenzie revealed that several firefighters have lost their homes but continue to serve their community despite personal hardship. When I look at the firefighters who have to be living out of the fire station because they have lost their homes and are separated from their families, that is the kind of Jamaica we want, Mackenzie declared. People who make sacrifices and work, even despite their challenges, added Mackenzie. The minister's tour of Falmouth was part of the government's damage assessment exercise across parishes hardest hit by Hurricane Melissa as emergency relief and rebuilding efforts intensify. Morgan tours South Trelawney post-Melissa. Minister with responsibility for works Robert Morgan says the National Works Agency NWA is working to create access so that emergency services can reach residents in South Trelawney affected by the passage of Hurricane Melissa. The NWA is creating access for emergency services and for persons to start going about their business. Yes, there is no electricity, but persons can still travel. In some areas, we are asking persons to be cautious as the road is now not as safe as it was before the hurricane. A lot of it is single lane and there are breakaways on the road, he cautioned. Morgan, along with Member of Parliament for the area, Maurice Rimpo Philibert, and representatives of the NWA, toured several affected communities on Friday to assess the damage firsthand. The minister also acknowledged the damage of both housing and road infrastructure, pointing to the unstable soil and the accompanying challenges for movement and relief distribution. This is the situation we are having right here, this belt. There have been significant damage brought by Hurricane Melissa. We have seen houses damaged, road infrastructure damage, and the soil unstable, he stated. Morgan urged residents to exercise caution while traversing roadways, stressing that while significant strides are being made, safety remains a priority as work progresses. He added that the visit would bring a clear understanding of the resources and actions required to fully restore connectivity in the constituency. For her part, Dalrymple Philibert reassured residents that relief supplies are in place and will be distributed as soon as it is safe for the teams to mobilize. She emphasized that the way forward as it relates to southern Trelawney and adjoining communities will have to be done through coordinated planning, continuous assessment, and timely execution. NWSA ongoing operations include cleaning debris, stabilizing vulnerable terrains, and prioritizing routes that connect communities with healthcare, markets, schools, and emergency services. Motorists urged to drive carefully in hurricane-ravaged western parishes. Motorists traveling along roadway in hurricane-ravaged western parishes are being urged to drive with greater care. This is in the wake of reports of alleged reckless driving by some truckers. Members of the public and entities including the National Road Safety Council, NRSC, are concerned about the practice. Vice Chairman of the Council, Dr. Jones, said such action could lead to crashes, which will create more challenges for an already overburdened area. He said so far this month, 4 road fatalities have been recorded.
I just received a call from Bishop Conrad Pitkin, who is a custos of St. James. He asked me to make an urgent appeal to all road users who are coming into St. James, Hanover, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth to be much more considerate when using the roads in that area. He made a point that for the most part, there is single lane traffic in many areas, and that trucks in particular have been seen driving through the area recklessly and endangering the lives of other road users. He is worried that if this kind of behavior is not curbed very quickly, we're going to see more road fatalities in the western part of the country at a time in that area and in Jamaica when there's so much grief and pain already being visited on our people. 326 people have died on our roads. So far for this month of November, we have had 4 road deaths and a number of days have passed without any fatalities. We want to keep it that way. We have moved on from the early madness in November when 3 persons died from careless driving in St. Elizabeth of all places. And we have had 1 more death in St. Catherine. But let us join together and speak to our people, all who we know, so that much more careful driving can be seen in the western part of the country. Let's hope everybody heeds this warning and this urgent plea.
St. Elizabeth pastor contributing to relief effort. Like most people born and raised in St. Elizabeth, Sheldon Evans is used to seeing the bountiful farmlands of his home parish. He said coming to grips with how Hurricane Melissa destruction has transformed its lush landscape to rubble. Evans is pastor of Evangelism Family Life Ministries, which has headquarters in Brooklyn and Queens, New York. There are also branches in Brinkley, St. Elizabeth, and Spanish Town, St. Catherine. He and a multi-member team in New York are coordinating a relief drive with colleagues in St. Elizabeth to assist those vanquished by the Hurricane Category 5, which made landfall in Jamaica. This is where he was born, the talk of Jamaica's breadbasket for decades, and it had suffered significant damage. The mode of the ground in St. Elizabeth after Hurricane Melissa is dire. Many residents are struggling to find shelter, food, and basic necessities, with homes destroyed and roads damaged. The pain and loss are overwhelming, said Evans in an interview with reporters. He disclosed that over 20 volunteers, led by Pastor Heather White Davis, are manning the St. Elizabeth leg of EFLM's relief effort. Most of the essential items being shipped are non-perishable food and water. Caribbean Pastors United, a group of ministers from the region based in the United States, Ari Jam Radio, Caribbean Power Jam Radio, and Fever FM Radio, have provided most of the support to EFLM. Watching the catastrophic developments in Jamaica post-Melissa has been traumatic for Evans, whose roots run deep in St. Elizabeth. He was born in the town of Santa Cruz, which was one of the hardest hit, while his father and mother are from Malvern and Nain respectively. Hurricane Melissa's impact is felt deeply in St. Elizabeth, where many families are struggling to recover. As a son of the parish and a clergy member, I'm passionate about lending a hand, both spiritual and natural, he noted. It's important to come together to support our community's resilience and rebuild stronger than ever. Hurricane Melissa's 185 miles per hour wind also caused considerable damage to homes, hospitals, and roads in the parishes of Westmoreland, St. James, St. Anne, Trelawney, Manchester, and Clarendon. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.